I, 34M, am still reeling from the chaos that unfolded at my engagement party. It felt like a nightmare plucked from a low-budget drama, but it was painfully real. My fiancée, Sarah, 29F, and I had been together for 2 incredible years, and we chose to celebrate our engagement at a charming outdoor venue. The evening was flawless. Twinkling lights, around 70 of our dearest friends and family, lively music, and delicious food. For the first time in years, I felt utterly, unshakably content. That serenity shattered during the toasts. As Sarah's father wrapped up his heartfelt speech, a voice sliced through the cheers. A toast to the couple. May they be as faithful to each other as Ethan was to me. Heads swiveled. Standing at the edge of the lawn was my ex, Rachel, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Our breakup 2 years prior was far from peaceful. The past 18 months had been a relentless trickle of torment. A chill of fear gripped me. Sarah clutched my hand, her grip tight. Before anyone could respond, Rachel marched to the center of the gathering, raising her glass. My best man, Jake, shot me a glance from across the venue and discreetly pulled out his phone. "He betrayed me," Rachel declared, her tone laced with malice. "And he'll betray you too, Sarah. A snake doesn't shed its skin." The atmosphere grew heavy with shock. I saw the confusion and pain on Sarah's parents' faces. A few friends who knew the truth began to rise, but I signaled them to stay calm with a subtle shake of my head. Losing control was exactly what Rachel craved. I released Sarah's hand, took a steadying breath, and approached Rachel. My voice remained composed. "Rachel, everyone's entitled to their perspective, no matter how distorted. But you're not welcome here." She sneered. "I'm just cautioning her. It's the decent thing to do. Someone has to shield the poor, unsuspecting woman you're about to deceive." This was her stage, but I had my own plan. "You're right," I said evenly. "Let's discuss shielding." I walked to the table where my satchel rested. I'd had a nagging suspicion Rachel might try something dramatic, so I came prepared. I pulled out a thick folder and handed the top sheet to Sarah's father. "This is a copy of the active restraining order against Ms. Carter here," I announced, my voice carrying across the crowd. "It mandates she stay at least 500 feet away from my home, my workplace, or me. As you can see, she's violating that order." A collective murmur rippled through the guests. Rachel's confidence faltered. "And these," I continued, displaying several more pages, "are police reports I've filed over the past 18 months. For keying my car, for creating fake online accounts to harass my coworkers, for showing up outside my building at 2 a.m. The list goes on." I faced Rachel again. Her smugness had dissolved into visible panic. "You're not shielding anyone. You're a stalker, and you just broke the law in front of 70 witnesses." Minutes later, as Rachel tried to protest, 2 police officers arrived. Jake's call had been swift. "We received a report of a disturbance," one officer said. "Yes, officer," I replied calmly. "This woman is violating a restraining order. I have a copy right here." One officer reviewed the document, while the other addressed Rachel. "Ma'am, is this accurate?" Rachel's demeanor shifted to tears. "He's twisting everything. He's the one who tormented me. I just came to warn her." The officer remained unfazed. He confirmed the active order via radio, and the response was immediate. "Ma'am," he said firmly, "you're under arrest for violating a court order." Her crocodile tears turned into a flood of genuine rage as they cuffed her. She screamed about my cruelty and how I was framing her. As they led her away, the party fell into stunned silence. The celebration was tainted, but as Sarah hugged me tightly, I knew Rachel hadn't triumphed. She'd only exposed her true self to everyone. Update 1. A few weeks later. The weeks following Rachel's outburst have been intense. The repercussions of her crashing the party were immediate and chaotic. Rachel was charged with a Class A misdemeanor for violating the restraining order, which the DA informed me is significant and could result in jail time due to the audacity of her actions. She spent a night in custody before her parents posted bail. Naturally, Rachel didn't stay silent. Her older sister, Emily, her fiercest defender, launched an aggressive online smear campaign. She portrayed Rachel as a victimized woman brutally arrested at the whim of her abusive ex. She claimed I was a cunning manipulator who weaponized the legal system to silence Rachel. It was a work of pure fiction. A handful of Rachel's old friends, more loyal to her than me, joined the attack, sending me hostile messages. Then the campaign intensified. I was summoned to a meeting with my supervisor and an HR representative. They'd received an anonymous email accusing me of erratic and aggressive behavior, alleging I used work hours to stalk and harass an ex. It was a blatant attempt to sabotage my career. I stayed calm and explained that I was the target of a prolonged harassment campaign. I provided HR with the restraining order and the police report from the engagement party. My boss, who knows my character, was supportive. HR noted the complaint but said without evidence, which was absent, no action would be taken. Still, it rattled me. That night, my frustration solidified into determination. Rachel was trying to taint every facet of my life. I was done playing defense. I contacted my attorney. By the end of our call, we had a strategy. The next day, we filed a civil lawsuit against Rachel and Emily for defamation, libel, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. We weren't just aiming to stop them. We wanted them to face real consequences. Update 2, 3 months later. The past 3 months have been a grueling legal slog. Rachel's lawyer promptly moved to dismiss our lawsuit as baseless and even filed an absurd countersuit for the public humiliation she endured. My attorney assured me it was a desperate tactic that wouldn't hold up. Meanwhile, the harassment persisted in petty ways. We received unsolicited food deliveries and bizarre magazine subscriptions. Then I found a note on my car reading, "Justice is coming for you." I installed a dash cam and continued documenting everything, sending it all to the police and my lawyer. The turning point came during the discovery phase of our defamation suit. After some legal back and forth, the judge approved our request for all social media data and text messages between Rachel and Emily concerning me. The results were explosive. The evidence laid bare their scheme. Texts plotting the online posts, Emily advising Rachel, "Focus on emotional abuse, it's tougher to refute," and Rachel responding, "Fine, but everyone needs to know what he's like." They'd even collaborated on the anonymous HR complaint in a shared document. One message from Rachel to Emily stood out. "Don't worry, when I'm through with him, he'll have nothing left." This wasn't two distraught people venting. It was a deliberate, vindictive plot. When my lawyer presented this to their counsel, their bravado crumbled. They offered a meager settlement. I instructed my attorney to reject it outright. We forwarded the evidence to the DA's office. The prosecutor was elated. While she couldn't file new charges based solely on the texts, she said this proof of calculated malice would strengthen the criminal trial, supporting a tougher sentence. The revenge wasn't about a dramatic showdown. It was about letting their own venomous words destroy them in court. Final update, 6 months later, it's finished. The final chapter has closed. 7 months after my engagement party turned into a spectacle, I can finally move forward. First, Rachel's criminal trial. The prosecutor leveraged the texts to expose her intent. When the message about sticking to emotional abuse was read in court, a ripple of disbelief spread through the room. Rachel's mother, present in the gallery, broke down in tears. The judge convicted Rachel, calling her actions a calculated campaign of harassment, and denounced her attempt to weaponize lies. He sentenced her to 90 days in county jail, 3 years of supervised probation, a hefty fine, and mandatory psychiatric counseling. With the criminal conviction in place, Rachel and Emily had no leverage in our civil suit. Facing a trial where a jury would review the same incriminating evidence, they caved. Their lawyer proposed a settlement, and we set the terms. Financial damages. They paid a significant 5-figure sum, covering all our attorney's fees, therapy costs for Sarah and me, and punitive damages. Public retraction. They were obligated to post a court-approved apology on their social media, admitting their claims were false, fabricated, and fabricated. It had to stay to remain pinned for 180 days. Permanent, no contact. A binding agreement barring them from ever contacting me, Sarah, or our families, directly or indirectly. The consequences for them were severe. The apologies and conviction news obliterated their social standing. Emily, while evading prosecution, is now burdened by the financial judgment and public shame. Rachel has a convicted criminal and, I've heard, is finding it hard to secure employment. Their downfall wasn't my doing. It was the natural result of their choices. As for us, Sarah and I married 2 months ago in a serene beachside ceremony. It was intimate, peaceful, and perfect. This ordeal was excruciating, but it solidified my bond with Sarah and revealed who truly matters allies are. The revenge was simple, letting the system Rachel tried to exploit deliver its justice. She faced the inevitable fallout of her own malice. That's the most gratifying triumph of all.